Hello, everybody. Welcome back for the second day in a row. It is a breaking news and off-the-cuff reaction video. The Championship managerial merry-go-round stops for nobody, not even Santa Claus at Christmas. I made a video yesterday talking about Mick Beale joining Sunderland as their manager. And in that video, a few Plymouth fans said to me, Ben, you're going to have to make another one of these tomorrow because Steven Schumacher looks like he is off to take the Stoke job. And they were right. Steven Schumacher is the latest, I want to say the latest victim, the latest person to try and figure out the mythical beast that is Stoke City in this Championship run. I won't go too much on Stoke because I feel like I talked about this a hell of a lot in the video about the sacking of Alex Neil. But it's not gone well for Stoke since they came down in 2018. And we went through the list of names and the list of ideas and approaches that the Coates family and Stoke have tried since they came down. And that includes Gary Rowett, who got the year one parachute money. Nathan Jones, who was the hot young thing then at the top of League One with Luton. He couldn't get it going at Stoke, went back to Luton and, set up their promotion, even if he didn't see it through in the end, disappearing off to Southampton midway through their promotion season. Michael O'Neill was the kind of statesman figure who'd done an international job. Who else did we have? Then it was Alex Neil, wasn't it, for the last couple of seasons? Now it's going to be Steven Schumacher. I don't know where that kind of lies in there. Is it closest to Gary Rowett, although he'd just got in the playoffs with Darby, whereas is it closest to Nathan Jones, although he hadn't taken... I don't know. Maybe it's a new approach from Stoke that they've taken someone who's got promoted in to this division at a young age and a damn good manager, in my opinion. Look, let's talk about Schumacher. I'm going to talk about the effect this may or may not have on Plymouth as well. But I am an Ipswich Town fan, so I am incredibly aware of just how damn good a football manager Steven Schumacher is and how damn good a job he did with Plymouth last season. I would even go as far as to suggest best job in the entire EFL, I reckon. Steven Schumacher scoring over 100 points and winning League One with Plymouth Argyle last season. We all think and know how good Kieran McKenna is. Steven Schumacher finished ahead of Kieran McKenna, and we think Kieran McKenna, when the finances are all revealed, this financial year is done. It'll only be in a few months' time now. Probably had 3 times the budget that Schumacher did. So just an incredible job by Plymouth. And of course, they were led by Steven Schumacher, who was at Plymouth with Ryan Lowe. Really well-run club, I have to say, Plymouth. Not taking anything away from Schumacher, of course, but they're the type of club that have got the infrastructure and the trend and all the backing correct for a young manager to be able to do what Schumacher did. Look, he delivered in spades last season. But going back, he was with Ryan Lowe in League Two at Argyle. And they came up. They were doing well, actually, in League One, so 2 seasons ago. And that was the point when Ryan Lowe made the jump to go and take the Preston job. A lot was made at the time of Lowe wanting to be a bit closer in terms of the Northwest. And I believe I am correct in saying that Schumacher moved his entire family down to the Southwest and really went all in on the Plymouth job, whereas Lowe wanted to go back. That's what I've heard. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I apologise. But that's my understanding of the situation. And you would worry when someone like Ryan Lowe goes out of Plymouth. But Schumacher was already there, and he was already the assistant head coach, and he knew all the players, and he knew all the club, and he knew the momentum. And they finished just outside the playoffs, didn't they? They had a horrible run-in a very difficult season, actually, in terms of it being I think they got did they get 80 points and miss out on the playoffs? Something like that, Plymouth. They were quite unlucky. Played all the top teams at the end and just dipped out and got Scott twined, didn't they, by MK on the last day of the season and dipped out. But by God, did they come back and have a good crack at it last season. And you have to say, Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich last season were the kind of big boys in that battle, and Plymouth were the underdog. And it looked in February like Sheffield Wednesday were going to go and take the title. They tailed off. Then it looked like Ipswich were going to come crashing through and they were going to take the title. But Plymouth held them off. I think they got 101 points in the end. A sensationally brilliant season. And we saw the hallmarks of Steven Schumacher football, where they didn't need much of the ball to win games. Not because they were like a lucky team, but because their attacking patterns were very clever, very vertical. They were like set up to exploit these shots that are taken from the edge of the box by the likes of Mumba and Whittaker, and to quickly make these attacks when the situation arises. Just a really well-coached team. Yes, at League One, they did manage to leverage the advantage they had from being out in the middle of nowhere down in the southwest, which, you know, you play whatever cards you're dealt. And I guess for the likes of, I don't know, Accrington or Morecambe or whatever, it was a big deal getting down to Plymouth. And they had this ungodly good home record, a brilliant goalkeeper as well, Plymouth last season. They were just superb. They just absolutely nailed it. And under a lot of pressure from, quote, bigger clubs with bigger budgets, and they held them all off. So as you can tell, I'm a massive fan of Steven Schumacher. Obviously, he's been working in the Championship now for virtually half a season. And honestly, and you can, you know, there's thousands of hours of me talking on the internet, so you can go back and check. It's gone pretty much as I expected. I thought they'd have momentum for last season. I did think the away record was going to be a struggle and the home record was going to maintain. I thought it was great that they managed to get Whittaker and Mumba permanently and then get Azaz back as well. And I thought it was vital that Steven Schumacher was the manager there. And they don't look in any danger of relegation, don't they? They need to get some away wins. We all understand that. But he just got to get this first season done, get stabilised and move on, was my thought about Plymouth. And I think they like 16th at the moment. Look, there are plenty of worse teams. If their home record goes and the away record stays as it is, maybe they'll have some problems. But I can almost see it going the other way, where there'll be a slight regression to the mean in the home record, and the away record, they'll get some wins. That was my opinion based on Steven Schumacher being there all season. So it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen at Plymouth. We need to go back and talk about Stoke. We will round out and talk about Plymouth just for this final bit now. Look, you're going to get people say, don't worry, Plymouth will be fine. They're a well-run club and they'll get through this. They got through it when Ryan Lowe left and they'll get through it again. And you'll get people say, this is going to kill Plymouth. Schumacher was absolutely vital to what they were doing, and they've lost him now. He was a talisman, and this is a huge problem, and they're now going to disappear off a cliff and, you know, worst case scenario, get relegated. As usual with these things, there's a kernel of truth in both of those sides, but be really honest and call people out for doing this until we know exactly who the new manager is, and essentially we let them have a few games and a transfer window, which is coming up. You can't really hold either of those, you know, opinions with any authority. You're talking nonsense, really. I can understand if Plymouth fans are going to be sort of emotionally protective of their club, which is, you know, we're in tribes, aren't we? And people protect their territory, and we go a bit caveman when we're talking about football. So I would get Plymouth fans might run the argument of we're really well run, which they are. We were fine when Lowe left, which they were, and we'll be okay again. I can get them running that argument, but it's not got a lot of credibility because we don't know who's coming in. We don't know what's going to happen. So honestly, I'm supposed to leave my bias at the door on this channel. I do have my fingers crossed for Plymouth because I like what they've done over the last few seasons. They've built back up beautifully. They were a great story last season, and these two promotions they've got in recent times. And it's just great to have a bit of variety in the Championship, especially with the location, even the colours and all of that. I just think they're a really good addition. And they played good football, don't they? I remember Ipswich beat them at Portman Road. Ipswich beat most people at Portman Road this season. But there's a couple of attacks in there where I was like, woof, where they ripped straight through the middle of Ipswich and sort of, I remember them missing a one-on-one at the start of the second half. And I'm like, yeah, this is a well-coached team playing good football. That if they continue on the trajectory and add a level of quality of player, they're going in one direction, and that's a trend upwards. Enough about Plymouth. Let's talk about Stoke, because the $64,000 question is, who the hell is going to get Stoke going in the Championship? Nobody has been able to do it. I don't know why. And I'll be totally honest, I thought Rowett was a good appointment. I thought Jones was a fun appointment. I thought Alex Neil, I wasn't too sure about Michael O'Neill, I have to say. But I thought Alex Neil was a good appointment. I've always looked at Stoke in the Championship and thought this is a big club by Championship standards. There are bigger clubs in the Championship, but there are plenty of smaller clubs than Stoke. And in terms of the wealth of their ownership, yes, I know you can only go so far with your ownership's wealth, given the FFP limits these days, kind of stopping that money just being thrown at the club, so to speak. But you always kind of wonder, why isn't this working? What is going wrong? And it just feels like they've had a series now of hire someone, they bring in a load of players, it doesn't work. Hire someone else, they bring in a load of players. We've got to sort out the rest of the players that were there from the previous manager, and blah, 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 and on you go. So they had a good old purge, didn't they? And a load of players came in as well during the summer. Feels like we've had that a few summers at Stoke, it has to be said, over the last 4-5 seasons. But what can we say in terms of Schumacher being different than other people that have come in? Well, he's certainly sort of younger and in that bright young thing category, although maybe Nathan Jones was in that at the time. But Nathan Jones didn't have a League One promotion on his CV, and Steven Schumacher does. I just like the cut of Schumacher's jib, I have to say. It's nice and calm. You don't hear any manager nonsense. I know that stuff is kind of going out of the game as we get these career coaches. You see all these hires now in the Championship this evening, even the recent ones, Joe Edwards, Danny Roll, sort of young managers, Liam Manning coming in, and they tend to drop the fast show Ron manager character cliches. And you get none of that from Schumacher, and he just seems a really switched on, intelligent guy. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. He's by no means some kind of studious beta male type. He's absolutely not. He's got that manager sort of charisma from the touchline, and I think we saw him get a couple of touchline bans for backing up his team last season. Particularly, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that he's no shrinking violet. If I do say he's a young, studious manager, I like the football. Look out for the vertical attacking patterns. Look out for Plymouth were exceptionally good at leveraging what looked like low percentage chances. But I know everyone has really got into XG, and that's become a big part of the game. If you've got players that specialise in shots from the edge of the box, they're not low percentage chances. And Plymouth just scored loads of those because they practiced them, and it was part of their game plan with Whittaker and Mumba and Azaz and the like. So we'll say it again. Could this be the guy to fix Stoke City? Steven Schumacher is in there. I'm not going to give an answer to that because I've thought they were going to be fixed, and I've thought they were going to be in the playoffs several times over the last, what is it? So 2018, 19, 19, 20, 2021, 21, 22, 23. So they've been down 5 seasons now, gone through all the parachute money. And do you know, I don't think they've been any higher than 14th. I think it's like 16, 14, 15, 16, something like that every year. So let's be honest, the bar isn't that high. Schumacher's just got to get him towards halfway, and he's improved on the last 5 years. But we all know the expectations of the Coates family and the Bet365 money. And after, I think, an 8-year, 10-year run in the Premier League, where Stoke may expect to be in the long run, can Steven Schumacher be the one to deliver that? And what will his exit mean for Plymouth? And who would be a good guy to go in at Argyle, a unique club in a unique location who are on a unique journey? They really need to make the right call. Let me know all of that down there in the comments, what you think. Get involved, and why not stay with the channel? We're going to point up there, and why not? Let's put yesterday's video. Excuse me, I can't. Leicester Day. It wasn't Leicester Day yesterday. They won again, didn't they, at Birmingham? But I want to say yesterday's video, talking about Mick Beale heading off to Sunderland up there. Fill the comments. Steven Schumacher in at Stoke. That is my take. I want to hear yours now. Over now.